Well, good morning, everyone. How are you guys this fine Wednesday morning? My name is Eric Senft. I'm going to be your host here for the next hour and a half while we try to trade the morning session here with the DTS system. Just one moment while I get you my monitor so you can see what's going on. For those of you new to the room, welcome. I'm going to give you a really quick overview of what you're looking at here. This is the diversified trading system. It's diversified because we're looking at the market, well, essentially from three different points of view. Here in the top left, we have the Hawk Micro Scalper. The top right is the Falcon Swing Trader. The bottom left here is the Eagle Trend Trader, and the bottom right is the latest addition to the DTS family. This is the Raptor. The Raptor actually incorporates elements of the other three birds all into one trading system. So it's a little bit of hybrid of sorts. All the signals, regardless of the birds, develop the same way. When we first get the signal parameters being met, we're going to get a warning dot and an audio alert. And then once all the signal parameters have been met, we're going to get a triangle and a hash mark telling us that, well, hey, the trade is ready and now it's time for us to make a decision whether we're going to take the trade or whether we're going to pass on the trade. You're going to see that there's certain trades that we favor over others. We simply just don't take every single signal. Although I suppose if you wanted to, you could, but what we do is we look for high probability setups, and I'll be going over some of those this morning. The tool you see here on the right, this is called the Trade Manager. The Trade Manager is a fantastic trading tool. It is perhaps the most important trading tool available to the retail trader. This one took a long time to develop, and it's what it is. It's a risk management tool, so it's going to contain my risk exposure to an acceptable level. It's also a trade management tool where I have 16 different stop strategies to choose from, each one fully customizable. And these blue dots that you see on here, these are the stop strategy. And you can see this is how my stop would have been trailed had I chosen this particular stop strategy. And like I said, they're all customizable, so you can change the settings however you like. All right, so we've just had the market open up. We're just waiting for the dust to settle a little bit here. The charts I'm following here are for the NASDAQ. I'm also watching gold and crude oil, but I'd be happy to take a look at any market which is of interest to you. I'm sure we probably have a few E-mini traders in the crowd, or perhaps you'd like to see one of the grain markets. Yes, that's right. The grain markets offer us pretty good opportunities too. I can look at Forex markets if you like. I'm a little bit limited with my equities, however. So if there's stock traders with us today, if you stick with the big stocks, I can probably show you how the DTS system performs on the big stocks. But if you're looking at something smaller, it may or may not be in my data assortment. All right, so the market's just opened up. Let's take a look here at where they've been in the overnight. It looks like for the last couple hours we had a nice little progression to the upside. London open right about here. We've got a nice with trend signal here on the Eagle Trend Trader, a little bit of a rally, and then a very quick trend change. This would have been very difficult to get on the Eagle, but probably we would have got something brewing on the Hawk, or perhaps even the Falcon. So we left off, where did we leave off? Right around here, around 41.84. So this is going to look a little bit like an opening gap this morning to the traders. and we may see them try to drift back down here, try to get into these lows. I'll show you in a moment how these work. Oh, we just had a first micro macro cross signal right here on the hawk. Well, technically the first micro macro cross developed right here. This is one of those high probability signals that I was talking about. And it occurs when the micro line, that's this thin one, crosses the macro line. And it's essentially the first signal where everything is in sync. So we've got red bars, red signal, red trend lines, red filter. And that tells us this is a tradable signal. And you can see it gave us a little bit of heat, but a very nice progression after that. And technically, this is another first micro macro cross. And I know you're looking at it and you're saying, well, wait a minute, Eric, the trend lines didn't cross over. No, they didn't. But what the first micro macro crossover signal shows us is a market that is out of sync, and then it comes back into sync. So notice the filter is out of sync, the bar color is out of sync, the trend lines are out of sync, and then everything comes back into sync, making that a high probability signal. So that's what these tools look for. They look for confluence, and once you get that, then you'll end up with something tradable. Here on the Falcon, let's take a look what's going on. Alex is asking for the S&P. Hold on one second, Alex. I'll load the S&P up. And in the meantime, we'll take a look at what's going on here in the Falcon. Got a little bit of a trend change signal here. The trend line spoiled the signal, technically spoiled the signal right here when the trend line went back into the green mode. Essentially with a trend change signal, what we're looking for is we're following the trend line. With the Falcon swing trader, you want to stay with the trend line as much as possible. So when the trend line is green, you're looking to buy. When the trend line is red, you're looking to sell. So here, this is called our trend change signal. This is one of our high probability signals with the Falcon swing trader, that when the trend line changes from red to green, we get this little seesaw action going on. So here's the move that changes the trend line. Here's the sellers trying to fight the trend line or the new trend back. And then here we come in with a buy signal. Notice the warning dot, the triangle hash mark, and now we're set to go. Everything is in sync again. We've got green bars, green trend line, green filter. And a nice little progression there about an hour prior to the open. So here's the move down opposite. You can see that little spoiler in there, even though you may have decided to ignore that just based on the price structure itself, but we can get into that a little bit later. And it looks like we're sitting right on the primary resistance line right now. These lines that you see right here, this is a system add-on, and it works on any chart, whether you're using DTS or time-based charts, whatever the case may be. Works on any market you can plot on NinjaTrader. No, these are not floor pivots, and no, they are not Fibonacci retracements. They're much better. And you can see that we're kind of hovering right now on the primary resistance. If we break through here, we should see the market trickle down to the median line. So the next support to the downside looks like 41.72. And we've got some secondary resistance up here at 42.18. So a fairly broad range for the market this morning as they try to sort things out. All right. Yeah, nothing going on the Eagle at the moment. Let's take a quick look here at the Raptor. As I mentioned, the Raptor is a little bit of a combination of the other tools. It incorporates elements of the Hawk, the Eagle, and the Falcon all into one. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a trend change going on now with the Raptor. We're getting this cloud crossover signal that occurs when the cloud, this Eagle band, crosses over. Uh, prices have come down. We actually had a soft edge sell signal right back here on the Raptor. Nice move out of there, but now it looks like we might be getting a trend change signal. We don't have a signal just yet. What we're looking for with the trend change signal is the market's going to drift into the cloud and then come out of the cloud, produce a signal. So that's what we're going to keep an eye out for. All right, Tony. Nicely done, Tony. Tony short the Eagle off of this NQ signal right here. So far he's in profit and probably has got his trade at least to a break-even position right now, if in fact he didn't take profit yet. All right, so Alex asked about the E-mini. Let me get the E-mini over here for you so you can see it. All right, so the E-mini S&P. Here's the E-mini now on the Hawk. Come on. Loading up another chart. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I've got my computer trying to do too many things at once here. There we go. All right. So here's the E-mini S&P. You can see the signals don't change. We've still got our first micro macro cross here. This one fired at about the same time as it did on the NQ on the NASDAQ. And so a nice little rally there about an hour prior to the open. And then we've got a first micro macro cross to the downside here right now. So there was the signal. Probably I try to cover the trade up there. And you can see that, well, actually, we've hit our high probability target already. With the E-mini, I tend to stretch the profit objective a little bit just because it's a more active market. But we're currently working this first micro macro cross to the downside here on the E-mini and looking to see the market continue a little bit lower from there. Let me bring over now the Falcon. And you're going to see, because these are all stock index markets, they're very similar. Nice trend change signal right here on the E-mini. This one didn't show up quite as well on the Falcon, but notice the trend line color change, right? And we got our characteristic little down. There's the up, there's the down, and here's the first signal where everything is in sync. So we've got red bars, red trend line, red filter, and a nice little move here from the secondary support down to the primary. Some people who are trading the support and resistance suite like to use the support and resistance lines as profit targets, as well as places to cover your trade. So if you took that signal from there, and well, you could cover right on the other side of the trade. Let's say I'm going to cover above the high. You could use the next line as your profit objective. And you can see nice little move down there, down to the primary resistance, where we're probably going to see a little bit of support come into the market. So there's the E-mini on the Falcon. You can see again about an hour going into the session, we had a nice trend change signal. Trend line changes color. There's the up. Here's the sellers trying to recover. And here the buyers come through with the signal. So warning dot, triangle, hash mark, everything in sync, telling us it's all clear. And quick look now at the Eagle, which hasn't been quite as aggressive to the downside as the NQ. So we don't really have a clean trend change signal here on the Eagle just yet. I'm suspecting we're going to see a little bit of a hiccup here maybe, and then the market come out with a sell signal. What we tend to look for, as with the other tools, is we tend to look for things that are in sync. So here is a nice trend change signal. The trend band goes from bearish to bullish. And here's our first trend change signal where everything is all in sync. The warning dot actually got absorbed by the triangle. That happens occasionally. This is just prior to the London Open. And a nice move through there. All right, last but not least, let's pull the Raptor over here real quick so you can see the the E-mini on the Raptor. Where did I put you? Oh, where did I put you? Ah, here we go. Too many charts. All right, so here's the Raptor now on the E-mini. And this brings up an interesting point. No, actually, that's not bad. We'll stay with the stock settings. The Raptor is perhaps the most customizable of your trading tools. The rest of the DTS system is pretty much locked, but the Raptor does allow a little bit more adjustment. I've also got the support and resistance suite on this one. That's why you see all these different lines printing across here. So I hope that doesn't look too confusing to you. But the Raptor here on the E-mini right now has not really produced a clean signal just yet. We got this soft edge sell, but there wasn't enough structure before that. With the soft edge sell, we actually like to see a little bit of a retest. See, here's a soft edge buy, and this is what I mean by a little bit of a retest. See that? They're trying to recover the trend. They're trying to recover the lows. They come away with that, and then we produce, in this case, it would be a soft edge buy, and you've got some good follow through on that one. We don't have that same type of scenario going on here, however, where we haven't had that retest of the high yet. Even though the market did make a solid move lower, not a real clean signal on the Raptor just yet. Here on the Raptor also, you're going to notice this tool. This is another add-on. This is not specific to the Raptor. You can use this on any chart. This is called the Geiger counter. It's essentially a tape reader. And it helps you see how the market flow is. So you can see there was a whole lot of buying going on here. The buyers kind of overwhelmed the sellers a little bit. And it looks like that might be the reason we're seeing some support come into the market. This is a very useful tool if you're already in the trade and you're wondering, should I hang in? Should I get out? What should I do? Well, if I saw a bubble in buying like this and I was short, at the very least, I would tighten my stop. That's not saying the market has to go higher because of this, but it may be prudent to at least roll your stop in. The nice thing about the Geiger counter too is this dial that you see flipping back and forth. When you see this dial move over and hold and hold and hold, that tells me that there's a lot of buy orders getting chewed up, and we're probably going to see the market move to the upside. And vice versa, if it moves here to the downside and holds and holds and holds, then the sellers are probably going to overwhelm the buyers. So this bar that's forming right here, this is a pretty significant bar right now. We're going to see something come out of this. Oh yeah, see how the buyers are, they're not holding it. So long as it's flipping back and forth, there we go. They got to get it over there and hold it there. Come on, hold it over there. Then we can see them start to chew into those orders, and we'll probably see a rally as a result. So really good for short-term analysis, especially if you're just looking maybe to scalp a couple of ticks, and it will really give you a feel of whether it's okay to hang into a market a little bit longer or maybe it's time to go. And like I said, I just happen to have one tool per bird, so it's not that you can't have those tools on each of the birds if you want, or even different ones. They are going to be showing you the same information, however, which is why I just put one with each tool. All right, so let's see what we got going on here now. We're working on a possible trend change now to the upside. Oh, actually, we did get the trend change here on the Falcon already. We're into the hard edge on the Eagle. I'm going to show you a trade just so you can see how these tools work. Obviously, we're in a downtrend, but we're getting a first micro-macro cross to the upside. You do need to be careful when you take a counter trend trade, even if it is a high probability trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up like this, and yeah, we'll start with that. So what I've done is I'm anticipating where the hash mark is going to print. I know it's going to print one tick above the high of this current bar. Okay, so we're slipping a little bit. We'll adjust the order. And I'm going to cover it back here to the macro line, just because I know from experience that if this market fades a little bit, it's going to want to come back into this macro line, which is what you see it doing right now. So I don't necessarily want to get stopped out just because the market retreats a little bit into the macro line. Now notice that the trade manager is controlling my risk exposure. This is risk that is appropriate for my account. It may or may not be appropriate for yours. Yours might be larger, yours might be smaller. But this is containing my risk exposure to 2% of my trading capital, regardless of where I place my stop. Very important. Okay, now we're getting a macro pullback signal. And this is, oh shoot, now we're into yellow bars. Oh, now we're into a red bar buy. So the market conditions changing very quickly. And I'm going to try to snuggle that in a little bit. So I'm just following the order. Oh, and now we've lost our red bar buy. So any of the buying pressure that we were seeing there has since evaporated. And now we're actually coming back with a first macro cross to the short side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel my orders and my break even so that you can hopefully see how the trade manager is going to roll my stops for me. Notice that? See how it's automatically rolling my stops as the market heads lower? So essentially what that means is now this trade is hands-free, right? I can park this trade, I can look for other opportunities knowing that the trade manager is going to manage this position for me. Now a lot of times I'll use a break-even trigger, an auto break-even trigger. You can also force the trade to break even if you like, so long as it has a positive balance. But we'll let this one run a little bit. We'll see whether or not the sellers can't. I think we're pressing on yesterday's lows. And let's see, are they going to tap the ATR stop? No, so far so good. So this is really now the last chance for the sellers to recover the trend. I could be a little bit more aggressive with my stop. I could roll it to break even now, knowing that if the sellers fail at this point, then the market's probably going to rally. And now notice as the market heads lower, it's going to once again pick up my stop and start to trail it. It's not trailing it right now because these blue dots are where the stops should be. But you see now it's picked it up and now it's going to start dragging it down again. So it's really a fantastic trading tool, and you should always bear in mind your open profit too. So we're up a fair amount of money right now in the hawk. So I may adjust this to a more aggressive stop strategy. Maybe we'll go to parabolics. Parabolics, you see, are going to roll my stops in very aggressively as the market retreats against us. So good little move so far. And you know what? I'm just going to grab that. Come on. There we go. Because I'm a bit of a chicken. I think the market could very likely head lower from here, but that's okay with me. I'm all right. Yep, there we go. That's a reasonable profit for a scalping tool. What you're going to find is that very often when the market hits your high probability profit objective, it's going to end up doing a little bit of a reversal. So here's the eagle. We generated a green bar sell, and you can see prices tailed off. Well, actually, I would technically take the signal below this bar right there. So let's do it like that. So you can see we hit our high probability profit objective, and now all of a sudden the buyers show up. And this happens quite a bit, actually. You'll be surprised how often the market will hit your high probability objective and then start to flounder a little bit. May not be a full-on reversal, but certainly will slow somewhat. All right. So let's see what else we got going on. Gold. Oh, gold made a nice little move lower here. So here's gold on the eagle. Oops. And our trend change signal right here. So here's the pretty much the same signal that we were just watching on the NASDAQ, except a different market. And I think that one may still be looking for its, oops, wrong tool. Stop it. Yeah, so that one's still kind of, oh, sorry, we're on the E-mini, not on gold. That's why it looks the same as the NASDAQ. Sorry, I haven't changed that chart back yet. Okay, let me pull up the gold market again. So it does seem as though the market is in a downtrend today. Therefore, I'm probably going to favor shorting the market over trying to buy it. It's not to say we can't get a buy signal. It's just if the market's paying off in one direction, I have a tendency to try to stay with that side. Oh, gold did make a nice move. We got several here. I'll show you the eagle. So here's our trend change, and here's actually our first trend change signal right here. That guy right there. And you could probably cover it like that. What? Stop it. And it looks like we're hunting our first target here on gold right now. So we certainly have enough open profit that we could begin trailing our stops, perhaps lock it in below this swing low, and maybe even start trailing a little bit tighter, as we've probably got the better part of $350 in open profit right now. And it looks like gold's going to continue a little bit higher. The trade forecaster, and this is another one of these system add-ons that you can use on any chart. Trade forecaster saying that gold is going to be in trend mode for nearly 2 hours. So there we go. We've just hit our high probability target in gold. And we'll probably see the market, recover a little bit. Oh, see, there you go. See what I mean about hitting your high probability target and then sometimes the market putting in a little bit of a reversal or just getting a little bit stagnant? Okay, the NQ still sliding. Also watching crude oil, which is a little bit on the quiet side this morning, waffling quite a bit. See, this is on the Falcon now, the Falcon Swing Trader. Whenever the market trend line like this looks like a roller coaster, you know you're stuck in a sideways range. Today, of course, is inventory for crude oil at the bottom of the hour, so we'll try to pay attention to that. But if the market stays sideways like this, well, we can bracket the highs, we can bracket the lows, and just let the report bring us into a trade. If in fact it has enough momentum to do that. The last couple of weeks it's been a little bit quiet on report day. All right. Well, let's see, what else can I show you? Or if anybody has any questions or requests, we're just waiting for the next setup here. We had a nice trend change signal here on the Falcon right here. It was a little bit prolonged, but you see the trend line changed color. Here's the down, there's the up, here's the down. This is one of our high probability signals on the Falcon. And you can see no problem hitting our profit objective. So take it like so, probably cover at least above the high. I'd probably take the median line into consideration here. And a nice little move there on the swing trader. The eagle just belting them out. My goodness. Welcome, Kumar. Kumar asks, are the indicators paid for or free? No, these are all paid for. There is no trial period with these indicators, which is why we host the trading room, so that you can actually see how these work. No, this is very sophisticated software. This is not the kind of stuff that you pick up necessarily at one of those freebie indicator swaps. Oh, sure, Tony. Tony's asking, Eric, can you go over how you did the limit order the other day? Okay, while we're just letting the market kind of move around here a little bit, here we can use the Falcon, I suppose. I'm going to go back to yesterday's trading where the market was kind of in a sideways range. Well, actually, this is close enough. All right, so Tony's saying, Eric, how did you set up the limit order? Go here to your trade manager and go to your order type. And what you want to do is you want to choose the limit. You can also choose the stop, well, no, sorry, the limit order. And now what you're going to do is, let's say, all right, let's say we're going to anticipate this. So the market's coming back down to these lows. We suspect the market's going to be in a sideways range. It's coming back down to these lows. So we want to put a limit order to buy off of these lows. So I'm going to set my price. I'm going to set it on the low or wherever you want. Sometimes people buy early. Sometimes they buy right on the numbers. Sometimes they get cute and they try to buy late. But let's say we're going to buy a little bit early. Now I have to set my stop loss. Oh, actually, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to manual mode. Why? Well, because this is a riskier trade. I don't necessarily want to risk 2% of my account. I'm going to go to manual mode, and the manual mode will default to this quantity up here. So currently my manual mode is set at 1 contract by default. I can change it whatever I want. All right, so we're going to buy a couple of ticks off of the low. I'm going to cover, maybe I'm going to offer up 2 points. So I'm going to go from 41.85 3/4 to 41.83 3/4. And I automatically still have my profit target set. So you can see the nice thing about this is that your risk is minimal. The downside is you're trying to second guess what the market will do, which is sometimes a lot more difficult. So here prices come down, our order gets engaged, and then lucky for us, there's that quick reversal, and then the market heads the other way. And then you may be thinking, oh, well, I'll do the same thing here to the top side. So I'm going to short it there, and I'll offer up 2 points, and then the market comes up, and now you've sold it. Remember, with a limit order, you actually have to trade through it, and oh no, we just got tagged. But that's how you do it, Tony. You're going to use your order type here. Now, alternatively, you could also you could right click on your chart and you can use your limit orders here. So you could sell, limit. Now, these orders are going to be live as soon as you put them on your chart. So you put them on your chart and then drag them in, and you'll manually have to set a stop loss order. So let's say we sell it at 41.99, and again, I'll give it 2 points, so I'll cover at 42.01. You can also do it that way. You can do it manually. But you won't have a profit objective this way. You'll have to use a manual profit objective or just close out the trade when you get to your profit target. All right, so the NASDAQ in a nosedive this morning. Great follow through here on the Eagle trade. Look at that. That's textbook, that one. Beautiful green bar sell right here. That's one of our high probability signals. And the market just never looked back. It's fun trading days like today. All right, so it looks like we're starting to maybe show some signs of support, the market flattening out. Maybe. Oh, maybe. We're just kind of on hold here at the moment until we get a little bit of structure telling us that it's safe to re-enter. We've missed a couple of trades here on the way down while we were looking at other things. Here's a green bar sell signal on the hawk. Did we get a macro pullback? Yep, got a macro pullback signal right here. That's one of our high probability signals. Haven't seen a 4-arrow consolidation. I suppose this one's kind of close, a little bit sideways for my taste, but it did have good follow through. Notice how frequently we're starting to print the signals now compared to back here when the market was trending better. That's sometimes a sign that the market's beginning to struggle a little bit. No, it's just in full-on bear mode today. Okay, so not only have we breached the median line from where we started, so we started off with the primary resistance this morning, came down, settled on the median line for a second, breached the median line, traded down here to the primary support, and now we've breached that and we're down here to the secondary support. All right, so the Geiger counter getting a little bit stronger here. I'm not going to get crazy and look to buy. But we might see a little bit of an uptick here. Okay, that yellow bar spoiled that signal. And the trend line change here spoiled this signal. Well, here I may as well show you again how the software works. So we've got we're long in the tooth on this trade here, but we just produced another sell signal here. Oh, and now they're going to run on me. With the eagle, oh, okay. Notice that according to my account size, the trade forecast or the trade manager won't allow me to take this trade because it's beyond my risk parameter. So the trade manager here protecting me from not allowing me to get into a trade that may be too expensive for me. So here on the Eagle, this is what I was looking at. We're generating a sell signal. It's with trend. The only thing that makes me a little bit leery about it is we're kind of at the bottom end of this trading range, right? If I put a trend line like this, it's much more desirable to sell from the top end of the range than it is the bottom end. But at any rate, it is a sell signal. And you see this squiggly red and blue line on here. This is simply an ATR line, which we're using as a filter. So what we do is we let the market come into sync, and let's say I'm going to risk it up there so I could take the trade. And now we're taking a little bit of heat on the trade. Again, possibly because the market has made a rather substantial move, and we might be seeing a little bit of profit taking coming into the market shortly. That may actually cause it to rally a little bit. I'm certainly not suggesting we're going to see a big rally today, but there could be a little bit of profit taking going on. As things get a little stronger. So here we are now. We're generating a green bar sell on the hawk. Oop, that disappeared. I'm working on a trend change signal now on the Falcon. All right, this is a little early, and once again, you got to take the whole context into account here, right? We're trying to buy into a downtrend, but for demonstration purposes, here we go. We've got a first micro macro cross, green bars, green signal. I'm going to cover the trade a little bit deeper. Oh, signal's changing now to a macro pullback, so I'm going to adjust my entries somewhat. And what I'll do is, again, so you can see how the stops roll, I'm going to delete my break even and my profit target. I'm going to leave my stops down here for the moment. And let's see, where's the 8? Parabolics are a little tight. Let's maybe try super trend. So I can preview the stops, and you can see right now it says that my super trend stops would be up there. And we're working on the macro pullback signal right now. Just looking for the buyers to recover this trend. I'm keeping my stops back here, well, because they need a lot of wiggle room if they're going to change trend here. They're likely going to try to retest the lows, and I don't want to get stuck in that. But like I said, this is a counter trend move. Working on a possible 4-arrow consolidation. Let's see what else we have going on here. Oh, we might be generating a soft edge buy here in the Raptor. Falcon, no clear signal just yet. Here's the problem with taking counter trend trades also. You see now we're getting a with trend signal. But it does look as though this market may be in a little bit of a transition. All right, so maybe we'll go with the swing low. Offset it a couple of ticks. There we go. So I'll enable my stops now, and you're going to see the trade manager pick up my stop. I'm going to hold it below this low right here. We'll see if we get a little bit of a rally. There we go. Come on. Get up there. See, when you've got a trend change going on, you need to keep your stops away initially. So we've hit our profit objective and our break-even trigger. I'm going to move now to the, let's go back to the super trend. Yeah, that'll work. And now a super trend is going to roll my stops according to the super trend stop strategy. Also generating a first micro macro cross now to the upside. This is a little bit more promising maybe. All right, come on, get going. I want to show people how the trailing stop works. We'll take a look. We should be generating a trend change signal on the Falcon. No, not yet. Our trend line has changed color. Here's the up. We're looking for the down portion. Then we're going to come back with the up. That's going to be a trend change signal for us. Unless, of course, the sellers squash the buyers here, in which case we can anticipate that the market's going to resume the downtrend. So pretty significant area right now. We'll just let this trade play out, and in a couple of minutes we'll go to the crude oil market because I believe we have crude inventory in about 10 minutes time. And we'll look at perhaps bracketing a crude oil trade. Okay, we don't have our warning dot just yet. I'm waiting for that warning dot to develop so I could, oh, there it is. Just had to move away from it. So here's our Falcon trade now. And I'm going to cover it like that also. So you can see we were anticipating the trend change signal, which is what we have now. I don't need to take the signal right on the hash mark. The hash mark is merely a suggested entry. You know, to offer up another tick, I can take it above the high, which is what I think I would prefer to do. Right, and my stops are down here right now. I've got my break-even trigger enabled. And again, this is counter trend, right? The joys of trying to take a counter trend trade. So we're just trying to ride out this current swing. Things are looking pretty bearish here for the buyers at the moment. So they're going to come down here and test this low. The nice thing about this trade is, well, it's not a nice thing, but even if this trade did not work out, I have not risked more than I can afford to lose. That's very important. Now, the buyers, I might go with the bar high-low strategy. This is one of our more aggressive stop strategies. Now that the sellers have, or pardon me, that the buyers have stepped in again, I can become more aggressive with my stop. After all, if the buyers fail at this point, then the sellers are probably going to drive the market lower. So I'm going to go with the bar high-low strategy. It's going to keep my exit order 2 bars back, 2 ticks off of the low. And we'll just see if they can't recover from here. Nope. So a little bit of a hiccup there. You can see now we're starting to get some of that sideways action going on. Our trend line turning into a bit of a roller coaster. So it looks like we're going to be in a market that's got a little bit of choppiness going on. All right, so let's go now to crude oil. And I'm just picking on the Falcon here. You can really use any tool you want. We've got the OCO function, one cancels other. So this is kind of useful on report days. especially if you've identified support and resistance areas that the market seems to be respecting, and if the market is trading somewhere near the middle. Now, right now, it looks like we've got resistance just above the secondary resistance and support right down here at the primary resistance. So I can use the OCO function to bracket this area for my trade. Now you need to remember with these orders, with your OCO orders, they are live the moment you put them on your chart. So I tend to place them away from price and then drag them into where I want them to be. And this is a more aggressive type trade for the inventory report. I'm going to enable my stop strategy. Try to give it a little bit more room here to sort itself out. And looks like, just looking at the NASDAQ here, it looks like we're starting to get quite a bit of overlap, quite a bit of sideways trading. Notice here on the Hawk, oops, shoot, just deleted my Hawk chart. All right, one sec, I got to rebuild the Hawk. I was going to show you that it was producing a lot of yellow bars, which is not what you want. It's going to show a stagnant market when it's doing that. All right, so let's bring the Hawk back here now that I've made a new one. And you can see we've got all these yellow bars going through here. Those yellow bars tend to show a neutral market, so we tend to avoid the market when that sort of thing happens. All right. So here we are. Crude inventory should hit the floor any moment now. And notice how stagnant this bar is. So traders are definitely waiting on some sort of news from the crude inventory report. All right. It should be any second now. All right. Oop, a little bit of slippage there. So a quick little burst to the downside, hit the break-even trigger, and then we saw the market flip back up. I'm going to try that again, and you can see we had a fair amount of slippage on that trade. A friend of mine likes to use an alternate strategy when he's trading the crude inventory report. Namely, he lets the report hit the floor like it did just now. he lets it establish a range, and then he'll bracket the range. So he'll throw in a buy order now, he'll throw in a sell order. Now that the market has established its range after the inventory, and now he'll place his trade. So that's an alternate strategy for you. Okay, now it looks as though they're honoring these lows, so I'll bring that in a little bit. Interesting to note that the Falcon does this a lot, I find, before inventory reports, is it will actually get the direction of the report correct before it even hits the floor. So we did get a sell signal right here. And a quick little tag to the downside. We're coming back into the hard edge on the Eagle, where we normally anticipate some sort of reaction. So the hard edge on the Eagle, actually you're currently sitting at 30.25. Now we're working a trend change signal to the upside, and the market has slowed a little bit, so you could even just take this as a normal trade. So the trend line going from red to green, here's the up, here's the down. We're working on the warning dot. No buy signal just yet. And now crude oil fairly content to just kind of flip-flop, hovering around $30 a barrel, which is probably a significant price for crude. Oh well, I at least got to show you the OCO function a little bit. Didn't quite have the follow-through that we were looking for. Let's see if it moves a little bit slower this time. So we'll bring those orders in a little bit tighter, just so I can show you how this works. All right, so you see we got filled to the short side. My stop was enabled, so I automatically have my stop loss order. I happen to be running a break-even trigger as well. But again, the whole point of the thing is that it's all automated for you. Now, when you're using the OCO function, the risk manager component is not in play, so you need to know approximately what your position size should be. They're fighting the lows a little bit there. And crude is starting to drift below $30 a barrel. So we should anticipate some support here on the median line. If we break the median line, next support down here at 29.30. Oh, pardon me. Sorry about that. Couldn't reach my mute button fast enough. So a nice steady progression for gold today here on the Eagle. You can see the trend change. Had a little bit of a retest here. Wouldn't have been so obvious at the time. But once you breach this little swing high and all of a sudden you're coming in with buy signals, then you're thinking, oh, okay, we're going to be looking at retesting the highs, which is in fact what it did, and then some. So just a great day for trading today. Much better follow through than what we'd been seeing. All right, well, we're just kind of waiting now, see whether the sellers are actually spent and whether we're going to get a buy signal. Okay, so we're into the hard edge now on the Eagle. That's right here. We always anticipate a reaction when we hit the hard edge. You see, hit the hard edge here, we came out with a green bar sell. That's what makes that one of our high probability signals. Tagged the hard edge here again, came back with a with trend signal. But as I showed you, the momentum is waning a little bit, so we may end up developing a little bit of a counter trend move here. Going to be very risky on the counter trend side. Anytime you take a counter trend signal, you're just kind of asking for it. So here we've got now the first micro macro cross to the upside. Problem is, where am I going to cover that bad boy? I got to cover it all the way down there. Again, because if this market retreats, it's going to try to get back into the macro line. See what's happening there? So we're going to follow this lower. Once again, a counter trend move. I'm just demonstrating this here for you. This is not what I would refer to as a high probability signal today. All right, so let me disable these so you can see the stop strategies. We're going to see whether or not we can get a little bit of a room here to move, and then I will enable the stop strategy and we'll see how the trade manager rolls the stops for us. So now we've drifted back into a macro pullback signal out of that first micro macro cross. And you can see why I was holding my stops a little bit deeper. Are they not going to allow me to show you that? Stinkers. Come on, get on up there. Get going. So do we have a comparable signal going on the Falcon? Not yet. We're working on the trend change signal to the upside. Getting a little bit of a cloud crossover happening here on the Raptor. Oh, you know what I haven't shown you yet is the Trailblazer. Now you've seen me enter the orders on the Trade Manager. The difference is the Trailblazer does not have this risk component. It's a one-click system. So as soon as I click the buy market or sell market buttons, I'm going to get my stop loss orders, I'm going to get my profit targets, everything according to my presets. So it's a very fast way to enter the market when you're producing a signal. So a lot of people like it for that reason. Some people with the trade manager, you know, if the market is moving especially fast or you're trading a market that's moving especially fast, it's difficult sometimes to, well, not difficult, but you've got to click your entry, your exit, you can have your preset profit target, and then you submit the order. The nice thing about the Trailblazer is it automates that feature. So we've just hit our break-even trigger. We've hit our first profit objective now on the Trailblazer here on the Raptor trade. This was a soft edge buy signal right here. And now we're looking for maybe a little bit more of a progression out of that one. I'm going to force my hawk trade here to break even as I find another profit target. There we go. So I've enabled the ATR stop and we'll let it run with that. Good question. Dan asks, how does the system know that $50 is your quantity one or quantity one is your profit target? I can preset all that. So here on the Trailblazer, I set my quantity and I set my profit target in ticks. So for this particular trade, I have two contracts in play, one at a 20 tick target, which we've hit, and the other with a 0 target, so it's open. Here on the Trade Manager, I can preset my targets. So I can set as many as 3 targets. Currently, I'm all in, all out. So I have 100% of my profit taken at 20 ticks. But I can split that up. Let's say I want to take 50% of my profit at 20 ticks, and I can either leave 50% on as a runner, see how it defaults. What if I want to take another 25% of my position at target 2? So now I need to set target 2, and let's say I set target 2 at 30 ticks. So now when I set up a trade, and I'm going to force 3 contracts here. So now when I set up a trade, this isn't a trade, but I'm just showing you. See, I've got 3 contracts. Target 1 is at 20 ticks. Target 2 is at 30 ticks. The third contract is a runner. See, so target 1, 50% of my position, 25% of my position, and then the remaining 25%. In fact, what I should do is I should force 1 more contract here. That'll make more sense. So I've got 4 contracts. Half of it come off at target 1. Another 25% comes off at target 2. And then the last one remains a runner. Trade Manager will always round down. When in doubt, it will round down. All right, so our trades are progressing fairly nicely here. It looks like we're just about to get tagged on this reversal. No, we were able to ride it out so far. Into flashing a bit of a macro pullback. Yeah, we're going to see it pull back here, at least into the macro line. But that's all right. That was a nice little move all the same. Still in the Raptor trade. My stop's a little bit further back on this one. I was just going to say I could roll them in a little bit tighter. Certainly if it fails at this point, it's going to take me out. Oh, come on, buyers. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the bar high-low strategy. If this particular swing does not stop us out. Oh well. Decent move though off of that nice little hard edge buy. How did we do there? Yeah, that's all right. Quick little swing to the upside, and now we would be looking for our next signal. So nice to see a little bit of follow through on some of these trades. Oh yeah, Tony says nice rally on crude oil. Crude oil did a total about face. So they were trying to get a little bit lower here. Nice trend change signal. See how that happens here? I bet you can identify them already. Trend line changes color. Here's the up, here's the down, here's the up. So there's the buy signal. And yeah, great little rally out of that one. And now they're working a trend change signal to the downside. So crude oil starting to act a little bit more like its old self, waffling back and forth. Bigger ranges and whatnot. Okay, well, if anybody has any other questions, please type away. We're getting near the top of the hour. We'll probably close things up fairly soon. No more questions. All right, well, I hope you at least got to see how the software worked a little bit today. If you do have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, or you can also email Adam. DTS owners, I will see you in the trading room again tomorrow morning. And the rest of you, we will have another open house next Wednesday. If you decide to join us then, that would be wonderful. And yeah, be careful out there. I think we are going to see a little bit of a short-term rally here. So if you're continuing to trade this afternoon, I think we can anticipate a little bit of an uptick in the stock indices, but I wouldn't get too crazy on the buy side just yet. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.